When people say, is hair loss reversible? They usually imagine one of two things. Either A, completely bald areas suddenly regrowing new hair, or B, thinning hair getting thicker again. Now medically, I want to specify that these are very different scenarios. Most treatments, they don't create brand new hair follicles. Sorry. They work by reactivating hair follicles that already exist but stopped producing hair. So when we talk about reversal, we're usually talking about reactivating existing follicles, not resurrecting lost ones. This distinction is everything. Now, let's go over your dormant versus dead hair follicles. Here are the key concepts that you need to understand. Most hair follicles don't die right away, so you're in luck. In the early and middle stages of hair loss, the hair follicles become dormant. So that means the follicle structure is still there, the stem cells still exist, the blood supply may be reduced, but it's not gone. The hair shaft gets thinner, shorter, or stops emerging. This is called miniaturization. Over time, if the underlying cause isn't addressed, like hormones, inflammation, stress, or circulation, that dormant follicle can become permanently inactive or scarred. Once that happens, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to stick the hats. At that point, once they're fully dead, the only other option you have is a costly surgical hair transplant. So the real question isn't, can hair loss be reversed? It's, are your hair follicles dormant or already dead? So now let's talk about the time window that most people miss. There's usually a multi-year window where hair follicles are thinning, shrinking, and cycling less, but they are still salvageable. The earlier that you intervene, the more follicles that are still dormant, stronger the regrowth potential, the better the response to treatment. On the contrary, the longer that you wait, the more follicles that are permanently shut down, and the more you shift from prevention to damage control. This is why two people can try the same treatment but get completely different results. Let's go over what regrowth can actually look like. Regrowth doesn't always mean thick, teenage level density. For most people, regrowth looks like thicker existing hairs, filling in thinning areas, slowing or stopping further loss, improved density rather than a full restoration. But this is still important. Stabilizing hair loss earlier can preserve the majority of what you have. And visually, that can be the difference between noticeable thinning or a full head of hair. The next step is to understand what treatments work for you, and to know that you have to understand DHT. DHT, or dihydrotestosterone, is a hormone derived from testosterone. In people genetically prone to hair loss, DHT binds to the hair follicles and slowly changes how it behaves. Over time, DHT causes your hair follicles to shrink in size, produce thinner, weaker hairs, spend less time in the growth phase, and eventually stop producing visible hair altogether. This process is called miniaturization. I want you to think of hair loss as not your hair falling out, but as your hair follicles progressively being shut down. That's why controlling DHT is the foundation of almost every effective hair loss strategy. Let's go over the 2 steps of an effective hair loss strategy. Category 1 is DHT blockers. These treatments reduce or block DHT's impact on hair follicles. Finasteride is the most common treatment. It inhibits the enzyme that converts testosterone into DHT. It also slows or stops follicle miniaturization. It also preserves existing hair and allows dormant follicles to recover if they're still viable. So here's what it doesn't do. It does not directly stimulate hair growth, and it does not revive dead follicles. Think of finasteride as damage control. Without it, other treatments are often fighting a losing battle. The next one is dutasteride. It blocks multiple DHT pathways and produces stronger DHT suppression. It's often used when finasteride is not enough. These treatments protect follicles, but they don't force growth. For hair growth, we're gonna move into category 2. growth stimulants. These treatments help follicles stay in the growth phase longer. Minoxidil is the most commonly used one, which improves blood flow around hair follicles, enhances the nutrient oxygen delivery, extends the anagen growth phase, and thickens miniaturized hairs. But what it doesn't do is it does not block DHT. It does not stop the underlying cause of hair loss. Minoxidil works best after DHT is controlled. Used alone, it often creates only temporary progress. Now, category 3, let's talk about nutritional support. These treatments support the hair structure, not preservation. Biotin is the most commonly used one because it supports keratin production, improves hair strength if deficient, and can reduce breakage. But what it does not do, it does not stop pattern hair loss, it does not regrow hair, it does not reactivate dormant follicles. But biotin does improve hair quality. And now category 4 is mechanical and signaling stimulation. These treatments amplify the growth signal. Microneedling, although painful, works well. It triggers wound healing pathways, activates growth signaling, and improves topical absorption. Basically, microneedling enhances the other treatments. The secondary option is low-level laser therapy. It improves cellular energy in follicles, provides a modest density and thickness gains, and it works best as a supportive tool. Moving on to category 5 is scalp environment and inflammation control. A hostile scalp environment will limit your results. Common solutions include ketoconazole and medicated shampoos. They can reduce yeast and inflammation, improve your follicle signaling, and slightly reduce the local DHT activity. The other option is anti-inflammatory scalp care. It improves your tissue flexibility, enhances your blood flow, and helps treatments penetrate effectively. So guys, that covers the 5 categories for an effective hair loss strategy. But my personal recommendation, at minimum, is to do finasteride and minoxidil. So if you're noticing thinning, shedding, or density changes, the most important move isn't chasing miracle product. It's getting evaluated early, because the sooner that you act, the more follicles you preserve, and the more options that you can keep on the table. Simply, the sooner that you act, the more you save. If you want to stop guessing and make informed decisions, LifeRX is here for you. Click the link below and book your consultation today.